Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian Donnelly. I'm an expert in distilled spirits with 9 years experience in the alcoholic beverage industry, and my goal is to educate consumers more about the alcoholic beverages they enjoy so they can make better shopping and drinking decisions. The next product is the Blanco Rosa. So, we just tasted and talked about the regular Blanco. This is the Rosa, or the wine cask aged, or I should say wine cask rested Blanco. So it's a bit semantic, but we're going to be talking about what's the difference in rested versus aged. So reposado or rested. So typically, I like to use the verb rested or to rest for anything less than an añejo. So for example, this is not quite a reposado. It sees a little time in barrel, so we're gonna say it's rested versus the reposado, it's rested. But when you get into that 1 year plus, that 1 year or plus territory of añejos and extra añejos, then we've moved from rested to aged. So what makes this product so special? So Código is credited with pioneering the Rosa category, or the category of aging wine, this category of lightly resting tequila in former wine barrels. So for the Rosa, they're resting their Blanco tequila for 1 month in uncharred Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon French oak barrels. So you have the Blanco tequila that is unaged, and then they're taking that distillate, they're filling first fill French oak Napa Valley Cab barrels and resting that Blanco tequila for 1 month. This particular product is credited, I said, as creating the Rosa category. And you remember I mentioned perhaps in the earlier part where I talked about the toasting, the hand toasting of these barrels. That happens after this product. That happens for the reposado and above. So they receive these barrels, French oak barrels that previously held Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon wine, and they're not retoasting them yet, and they're just filling them with Blanco tequila. Now, Código does not manipulate any of the color of any of their products. So I've been told there will be slight differences in color in all their products, but perhaps most often seen in the Rosa, because the level of wine influence and the level of barrel influence from these former Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon barrels is going to be a bit different barrel to barrel, batch to batch, and they're not manipulating that final coloring at bottling for consistency. So you're gonna get some slight different color variations, especially with that light, pretty pink color that you get with the Rosa. So this is just absolutely beautiful product, beautiful packaging. You can kind of see they tint the glass pink at the bottom. I don't know if this will quite show up on screen. Yeah, you can see the embossing, and they slightly tint the glass at the bottom, but you can see it's not tinted. So look at this. So there's clear glass from where I've already drank some. There's the embossing of the Jerusalem cross. And you can see, this is clear glass up here, and it's colored at the bottom. So 100% of that color, that pink color that you're seeing right there, 100% of that color is coming from the cask. And then you can see they put a little sticker right there. And then these are liters. I'm tasting liters because that's what I had on hand for the Blanco and the Rosa. And I think the Reposado also comes in a liter, but everything else will be a 750. I just want to read this little necker real quick. Aged in French oak wine barrels, leads with bright agave character, earthy minerals of authentic agave notes, finished with soft floral essence of Cabernet wine, 100% natural color, 61 calories per ounce. And let's see if there's anything else more. And their recommended cocktail is a Paloma, a classic tequila mixed drink. Also beautiful pink color. Should make absolutely perfect sense that this would be a great fit for a Paloma. Ooh, ooh, noticeably different, smell than the Blanco. The tasting notes are bright, fresh agave flavors of citrus and mineral notes. Okay, that is literally copy and pasted from the Blanco, but man, you're getting so much more than you. You're definitely getting some oak flavors. I mean, they're much more subtle than like even a regular Reposado or a real Reposado. But I would say the dominant flavor on this is no longer the agave. The dominant flavor on this is no questions asked, those flavors coming from that wine cask. And I'm not just talking about the oak itself. I'm talking about the actual wine. That's super interesting. All right. This is also bottled at 80 proof or 40% ABV. Let's take our first sip. Still got that kind of bright pop. I would say definitely more fresh agave on the palate than on the nose. The palate is definitely going to drink a little more similar to the Blanco than what I was experiencing on the nose. But there's still some other flavors, right? Remember I said the Blanco was 3 flavors, right? Primarily agave, roasted agave, really nice agave flavors, supporting elements of citrus and minerality. This still a lot of agave on the palate, a lot of agave, but perhaps instead of that citrus minerality, you're getting a little oak, just a little oak, and then just some flavors. I don't know if I can quite describe it from that wine cask. I mean, they're there. There's something else extra to this. I would say on the nose, this really tastes like a night and day different product than the Blanco, but on the palate, it's a very small jump from Blanco. This is almost like a bridge product to their Reposado, because the cool thing about Código is all their products, if I line up all their products from their Blanco all the way to their 6-year-old Extra Añejo, it's the same distillate in the same barrels. So the only difference, the through line between all those products is time, versus a lot of brands for their higher end expression will manipulate different cast agings and cast finishes. Same barrels, only difference is time from the Blanco to the Extra Añejo, which I think is really cool. So this is super interesting. I mean, this would be so fun for cocktails just from the color alone. I'm gonna pull up the pricing. Okay, so Código Rosa, $7.50 in my home market is gonna retail between $53 and $57. And I know for a fact, actually I'm gonna double check, but I believe the Reposado is also line priced. Yeah, Código Reposado, 53 to 57, Rosa, 53 to 57. So here's where it's gonna be hard. The Rosa is definitely a bridge product between the silver and the Reposado, and I haven't tried the Reposado yet. But the Rosa and the Reposado are the same price, at least in my market. So, is this product worth the money? I mean, unless that color is really, really important to you. I mean, this is such a beautiful, soft pink, hue. I probably should have showed it to you before I drank it all. Unless you really want that color, I personally might hold out for the Reposado. I'm a huge Reposado fan. I want that Goldilocks of agave to barrel flavors, and that's what I'm looking for. And when I'm making tequila cocktails, I usually always use a Reposado. But this product's interesting because it is that stepping stone from Blanco to Reposado, but you're not quite in the Reposado. And if you want that, so if tequila is a spectrum, right, and you have the Blanco's unaged over here and it's dominant agave flavors, then you have perhaps the Reposados over here and it's a balance of agave and barrel flavors depending on the brand. Some might have more barrel, some might have more agave. This is like, just past the Blanco, but not quite to the Reposado. So you're just starting to get there. You get a little more barrel flavors, but it's still mostly agave flavors. So for me, this is a product for your diehard Blanco drinkers, not your diehard Reposado drinkers. And unless you really want that beautiful color for cocktails or even just for serving neat, I would say maybe this isn't worth 53 to 57, and you should hold out for the Reposado. And maybe I need to taste the Rosa and the Reposado side by side and let you know which I think is worth the money. So again, I hate to ride the fence, and I'm definitely not discrediting this product. It's delicious to drink, but for $53 to $57, if you're being really critical, is this product worth the money? I might say maybe. Not quite. It's not quite yes, not quite no. It all depends on what you're looking for. But this makes me really excited to try the Reposado. Thank you so much again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, maybe even learned something. Please give this video a like and consider subscribing. If you would like to be notified whenever I have new content on my website or this YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to my email newsletter. If you have any feedback for the channel, leave me a comment or shoot me an email. I do my best to personally read and respond to every single email I receive. Also, if you'd like to support this channel further, please consider becoming a Patreon member or gift me a cocktail through the link below in the description. Thank you so much again for your support. If you do not care about the video component of these brand tastings and educational videos, then please consider subscribing to my podcast. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you consume your podcasts. It's just the audio content of these videos. Thank you so much again for watching, and as always, please drink responsibly.